All right, it's finally here. It's NFL Wildcard Weekend, and we get started with two NFC games this Saturday afternoon. This is a 3:30 start, depending on which part of the country you're in. We've got the Carolina Panthers hosting the Los Angeles Rams, and then the late game is going to be the Bears hosting the Packers. Division rivalry. So let's get into it. Please ignore my allergies. Woke up with them. But let's get into the first game. So we got the Los Angeles Rams traveling to Carolina. Big road favorite, 10 and a half. It's been moving right now. And let me double check. Yeah, it's at 10 right now. We've got the Rams favored by 10 points, a double digit road favorite in the playoffs, going against not rookie, but first time NFL playoff quarterback Bryce Young. Totals at 45. This was at 46 and a half. I think they were expecting colder weather in this game, but looks like we're going to have perfect weather, 50 degrees, sunny in Carolina. Should be a beautiful day for football. Nothing crazy. That'll come later in at least in basically the Bears Packers game. So let's get into this one. It's basically a young team in the Carolina Panthers against a veteran heavy team, Los Angeles Rams. Plenty of Super Bowl players on there, Matthew Stafford included. Probably the NFL MVP this season. There's a reason they're big. They're a big favorite tonight or today, 10 and a half points. You have Sean McVay, quarterback or coach, going up against second year head coach Dave Canales, his first playoffs. So this is a pretty intriguing matchup just because you're going to have experience and veterans against inexperience and a lot of younger players, first time playoff players. So let's get into it. First, we've got to talk about the quarterbacks. Bryce Young, who has been much better, in my opinion, this season as the seasons progress. They'll also have a lineman, an offensive guard back on the team. That's going to be huge for them. Their other guard, Chandler Zavala, is also questionable. He practiced this week, so he may suit up. We don't know yet. He hasn't. I guess we won't really know until an hour before the game, but Bryce Young, can he continue to move the football and give this Rams defense, who's been susceptible to the pass and running game, some problems? And let's not forget, the Panthers already defeated the Rams earlier this season. A lot of people think that was a fluke and obviously shouldn't have happened. I want to say the Panthers were 10-point under. I think they were double digit underdogs in that game as well. Let me double check to see if they has it here listed. I should have wrote it down, but no, it doesn't have it. Yeah, I'm not seeing it listed anywhere. But if I remember correctly, they're about 14-point underdogs. Somewhere it was definitely double digits. So now we've got 10 points. And if you know anything in NFL history, road favorites, double digit favorites, the larger the number, basically anything over 4.5 points, they tend to not cover against the road dog, the home dog, excuse me, the home dog. And that's kind of what we have here. So it's an interesting matchup, not only on the field, but also from a betting perspective with experience against inexperience, young team against older veteran team. How is this Rams team going to perform? They beat the Cardinals to end the season. I believe all their starters played except for Devontae Adams, resting a hamstring. But before that, the Rams lost two games, and the Panthers, we know their game came down to the very end against the Buccaneers. So it took the Saints upsetting the Falcons to get the Panthers into the playoffs and boot out the Buccaneers. So what are the Panthers going to do with this opportunity? I think they're going to have a great game and they're going to play the Rams tough. And the reason why is one, we've got a beautiful sunny day, so no weather excuses. They've gotten healthier on the offensive line. And you have Bryce Young playing some of the best football that he's played, his entire career. Short career, but his entire career. Will he get help from the outside? Ted McMillan has some trouble with drops, but not as bad as I was going to call him LeGarrette Blunt. Xavier Leggett, he has trouble with drops, but they also have Jalen Coker and a couple tight ends that they use in the passing game with a two-headed monster, but mainly Rico Dowdle running the football. I think they're going to want to emphasize the run game, try to keep the ball away from Matthew Stafford and that explosive Rams offense. Trust their defense, kind of like they did against the 49ers and the Buccaneers last weekend. But the Panthers defense, I felt like the Panthers had a great game defensively. There was a couple bad penalties that kind of messed them up. But all in all, this defense is going to be ready for their biggest game of the season. And I do like this Panthers defense. They have two great corners. They have a solid defensive line. The linebackers could be dicey at times, but again, if the Panthers play like they did against the 49ers earlier in the season, they'll have success. I think every game the Panthers have been in has been very close. And if they've lost, it was only by, it was less than double digits. So can they keep the game close? The only game that wasn't close was when they lost to Seattle by 17 points. So what are the Rams going to need to do? Basically, turnovers. The easiest way to defeat the Carolina Panthers is to turn Bryce Young over. Easier said than done, but the Rams have a pretty good pass rush that they can get to the quarterback and trust their defensive backs and linebackers, landman, to make some stops. I like this Rams defense, but they haven't been as tight towards the end of the year like they were at the beginning of the season. So it'll be interesting to see how this matchup plays out. And now let's talk about the injuries. So for LA, only player out that's noteworthy that hasn't been out, I guess, is Jordan Whittington, wide receiver. He's out. But the Rams, it doesn't really matter. They trot out. I mean, there's guys that you've never even heard of that go out there and perform for the Rams. So this isn't a big deal in my opinion, and I believe they're going to be out one of their guards. I don't know how long he's been out, but he's going to be out for Carolina. Like I said, basically they've activated their guard. And Chandler Zavala, we probably won't know until an hour before kickoff if he's going to play or not. But this is huge for Carolina to get more help on that offensive line. Earlier in the season, when the offensive line was healthy, this offense was humming and they were protecting Bryce Young. Same with last year. So this is huge news for Carolina. So let's talk about the game from earlier this season. Panthers upset the Rams. It was kind of a ugly weather game. The Panthers made the game ugly on the Rams. Panthers are also a good home team, but the Rams are a really good away team, so that kind of cancels out. They're able to turn over Matthew Stafford again. If this Panthers defense can create turnovers and force the Rams to keep throwing the ball, that actually could work out for them because of the Panthers defense. They love their pass defense and their ability to create turnovers. They also did a good job stopping the running backs for the Rams, but they both had over 70 yards, Blake Corum and Kyron Williams. And Blake Corum averaged, 11.6 yards per carry. So he actually had a really good game. So they're going to have to tighten that up. The Rams are more than happy to run the football. That's why I think, and I did like the total to go under 46.5, but now the total's at 45. That's kind of in the middle. All the Panthers games go under the total. All the Rams games go over the total. So this is kind of a weird game for the total. I'm staying away from it for those reasons. But I do think it could be an under game. But like I said, at 45, I don't like it anymore. And I could easily see this game going over, especially if the Panthers are able to move the ball through the air. Bryce Young had a great game. Only threw 20 passes, 200 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns, averaged 10 yards per reception. He did get sacked twice. So did Matthew Stafford. But he had a great game, almost a perfect quarterback rating. Bryce Young was phenomenal in this one, and that really did help the Panthers get the win, obviously. But they're gonna have to replicate that and have the defense step up. To give the Rams issues. What also helped with the Panthers in that game was their third down conversions. They converted 7 out of 15, so a little slightly under 50%, but still that's pretty good in the NFL, getting around that 48-50% range. While the Rams actually did struggle on third down in comparison, only converting where is it? Only 205. So that means they were actually moving the ball, but they didn't see many third downs. They had more first downs. Third down conversions are always key, especially in the playoffs. They had, well, the Rams actually, they had three fourth down conversions. They were 3 for 300%. So that was also plays a huge factor. But the main thing is the Panthers defense was able to force three turnovers. So again, as always in any NFL game, and especially the playoffs, turnover battle is going to be huge. What can the Panthers do defensively to turn over Matthew Stafford and the Rams? If they don't commit any turnovers, see, they only won by 3 points, committing three turnovers to zero. So, that's a lot to bank on to try to replicate a performance like that. But again, that's kind of why the spread is where it's at. 10.5 points. So, in my opinion, what I have here, I like the Panthers. I like the Panthers to keep this game close. I feel that this, not only the Panthers defense is a little bit underrated. Their corners are underrated. Their defensive line's underrated. But also, I feel that the offensive line is underrated. The way that they have been protecting Bryce Young, run blocking. As long as these Panthers receivers can hold on to the ball, looking at you, Xavier Legette, even Ted McMillan, he's struggled at times holding on to the football. But we're going to have perfect weather. There's going to be no excuses. 50 degrees, sunny. I still like the Panthers here. This is way too many points in a playoff game. Even though this is a revenge spot for the Rams, Sean McVay has the extra film going against the Rams one time. He's going to face them again. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams won, but I feel like it's going to be a lot closer than the 10 points because of this Panthers defense. So, what about the Rams defense? The Rams defense kind of struggled the last couple of weeks, especially against the Seahawks. The Seahawks were able to just march it down the field especially in the second half against the Rams. And again, they played the Cardinals to end the year. But the Cardinals are one of the three worst teams in football. So, or four, Titans, Cardinals, Raiders, Jets. So they destroyed them. That's nothing new. Also, a division opponent. So you knew that they were going to have their best game. But other than that, the Rams did lose their last two games. So they need some sort of momentum. Devontae Adams will be back. He's rested, I think, the last 3-4 weeks. So he should be ready to go. Puka Nakua ready to go. Kyron Williams, Blake Corum, from what I've seen, he's fine. Also, the Panthers are going to have to cut down on the penalties. They had 7 penalties to the Rams 1 in the first meeting. They can't let that happen. They're going to have to change something and fix it. So I like the Panthers to keep this game close. Can they get the upset? Yes. If they turn the ball over, no. If they force turnovers on the Rams, but I expect Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay, and the Rams offense and defense to be locked in for this game, especially the revenge factor. I just don't see it being a blowout because of this Panthers defense and the offense's ability to move the football. It's all going to be about Bryce Young. Can he take care of the ball? Can they work the run game to milk the clock? That's going to be important because, like I said, Bryce Young only threw the ball 20 times in the first meeting, 3 touchdowns, almost a perfect quarterback rating. That's the key here. Protect Bryce Young, short passes, nothing too big, and you don't want to play from behind. The Panthers didn't play from behind, I don't believe, against the Rams. They pretty much had to lead the entire game, maybe down a field goal at halftime, but after half, they had to lead. So he wasn't trying to come from behind 7 points, 10 points, 14 points. It was always they were either up or only down maybe a field goal. So that's huge for the Panthers. Protect Bryce Young, manage the game. Dave Canales, a lot of pressure is going to be on him. Sean McVay is going to be ready. Let's not forget, some of these coordinators for the Rams have been interviewing all week. I don't think that's a huge distraction, but it could be a distraction nonetheless. Panthers should be locked in. They've gotten healthier. They've been playing in close games again, except for the Seahawks game, which was a 17-point loss. But all in all, they've been playing tough with their opponents. I think that the Panthers could be a little sneaky here and keep this game closer than the experts think. All right, let's move on to the next game. And this one's going to be probably one of, if not the best game of the night. And that's going to be an NFC North matchup with the Green Bay Packers favored by 1.5 traveling to Chicago to take on the Bears. And we have a total of 44.5 in this game. Weather's supposed to be about 30, 33 degrees, 15% precipitation, at 15-mile-an-hour winds. So we're going to get an NFC North setting, weather, and matchup here. I like this matchup. I think this is going to be a great, again, kind of like the first game, except more familiarity. We've got a rivalry, and we've got Matt LaFleur 1-2 as a road favorite in the playoffs. His only win, guess, the Dallas Cowboys. He lost to the Eagles and he lost to the 49ers, which are pretty respectable losses because the Eagles were the better team in both of those games. They had the better team. So that's nothing surprising. I believe both teams went on to the Super Bowl both of those years. So of course Dallas is the only one that they beat. So, and then you have Ben Johnson, new head coach, rookie head coach, first career playoff game. Same with quarterback Caleb Williams, first career playoff game, going against a veteran in Jordan Love. But the thing is, the Packers haven't even. The last time the Packers won a game was December 7th against the Bears. It's been a while since they've won. The Bears, on the other hand, they've lost the last couple of weeks. It's been a little while since they've won, and their last win was against the Packers. So this is a very intriguing matchup. We've got weather conditions. Packers are dealing with injuries. They haven't beat a team outside the Bears in over a month. So this is, I think it's matching up to be a great game. Jordan Love, is he going to be rusty? He hasn't played in a few weeks. Malik Willis has played. He got injured in the game against the Bears, and the Bears came back from behind to win that game late. And it also went into overtime. Malik Willis did have a good game. It was very low scoring, and the Bears ended up pulling it out. Caleb Williams has had a pretty solid, he did pretty solid in both of those matchups, but in game two, that's kind of really when he flourished. I think this game is going to come down to the ground game, actually. Who's gonna be able to run the football, milk the clock? Packers got Josh Jacobs healthy. They have a couple other backup running backs that are more than capable. But also, the Bears do have the advantage here, in my opinion, having two very strong, capable running backs in DeAndre Swift and Kyle Manangai from Rutgers. Coaching matchup. Can Matt LaFleur be trusted? What has he done lately? The Packers haven't done anything besides beat the Bears. So this could be Ben Johnson's coming out party. But how are the Bears going to do? The Bears defense has been struggling. They got beat by the 49ers in a shootout, and then they got beat last week in an ugly game against the Lions. The defense struggled once again. Not only the defense, but Caleb Williams and the offense struggled against Detroit. And I wouldn't call that a must-win game, but I believe it would have helped their seeding, if I'm not mistaken, for the Bears if they would have won. So I not aside from the running game, the main factors for me in this game is going to be the defense. Bears defense has been struggling. Packers defense has been struggling. No Micah Parsons, so pass rush is going to be a little bit different. And they're going to bring in Trevon Diggs out of all players to bring in. Trevon Diggs, who can't match up anyone one on one, and now he's got to go play in the cold. I don't even know if he's going to get snaps here, meaningful snaps, or if he's going to start. But it is interesting and intriguing in this game. So, who do we think is going to win? Everyone. All the tickets. Last I checked, 75% of tickets were on the Bears to get the home win. but the line keeps moving the opposite direction in the Packers' favor. It went to 1 point. It went back to 1.5, then back to -1, now back to 1.5. So you have this spread ping ponging, but all the tickets are on the Bears. I think even with the weather, I'm trying to think here. With the coaching matchup, I feel like you still have to favor the Packers. The Packers' two best games have not the best game. Well, the first game was good against the Bears. The second game they kind of choked that one, but it was with the backup quarterback Malik Willis coming in for Jordan Love. So what's Jordan Love going to be able to do in this type of weather? I believe it's just going to be 33. The wind, 15-mile-an-hour winds, not too crazy, but still, it's going to be. I'm trying to just double check the weather here. Yeah, about 35 degrees, and I don't know if we'll get snow or not, but this looks like a great game. In my opinion, can you trust a rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback? Even though they're at home, can you trust them to get the job done? I think the last two times a rookie quarterback won their playoff game was CJ Stroud at home, destroyed the Browns. Was it the Browns? I believe it was the Joe Flacco Browns. And then Brock Purdy won his first game as rookie. I like this game to go under. I think I got this at 45 to 46. Under 45, 46. It's at 44.5. I still think that this is a potential under game. But if we're not going to have ugly weather and it's just going to be cold, and Packers are used to playing in this weather, they play outside. Jordan Love can still throw the ball. This Bears defense is skeptical. The Bears have struggled against the Packers. They just don't match up that well, especially defensively. And the Packers' run defense isn't the best, but it's in the middle. The Bears defense is pretty poor at everything, especially in the passing game. So I like the Packers in this game because of that. This is the playoffs. We talked about this with the college football playoffs, and now we'll talk about it with the NFL playoffs. You have to bring a defense. Even though the Packers defense is kind of middle of the road, it's still not as bad as the Bears defense, struggling against the Lions, struggling against the 49ers. They get the occasional turnover, but they can't stop anything in the passing game, and that is the Packers' strength is throwing the football. Jordan Love will be back. I believe it's Wicks that's out for the Packers, but they got Musgrove at tight end. They got Christian Watson, all pro. I don't think that's that big of a deal. They have Josh Jacobs healthy. He's kind of been sitting. Jordan Love's been sitting. Could there be a little bit of rust? Potentially, but I just don't think this Bears team's good, and they're going to be good, but they got to figure out the defense, and the defense is what's going to hold them back tonight. I think the cold weather is a non-issue. If there's no rain, there's no snow. I don't think that's a real issue, the weather, because Packers can run the ball, Bears can run the ball, but can they stop the run? Can the Bears stop the run? Can the Packers stop the run? That's where they both struggle. But the Packers have a better passing defense than the Bears. The Bears defense. And if you're in a shootout, who would you rather have? Maybe the Bears. I'd rather not be with the team that has one of the worst defenses in the NFL, especially right now. So give me the Packers. I'd rather have the Packers. I'm fading not necessarily Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson as rookie head coach quarterback combos, but I'm fading the Bears defense and how they've been playing as of late. I just don't. I can see the Bears winning, but if in a coin flip game, give me the better defense, experienced coach, experienced quarterback, but that's not a knock on the Bears, Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. But in a game like this, I'd rather not have that defense as my last prayer of keeping us in the game. Give me the Packers. I like this game to go under. Like I said, I got under 40, 45, 46.5 earlier in the week. But for tonight, It's at 44.5. I still like that under. Give me the under. Give me the Packers. That's it for Wildcard Saturday in the NFL. I'll be back for tomorrow's games as well as Monday and post those. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next episode for the NFL Wildcard Weekend. All right, we'll see y'all.